Hey guys, it's going to be Officer Ben and his drive home. I have a hard time finding the opportunity to record, and often when I do find time to record, like the stuff I want to talk about is not really fresh in my mind. So I thought I'm going to try to do a couple of on the drive home videos, and that's what we're going to do today. Got the phone mounted, so I'm not using my hands, so nobody yells at me, and I don't know, we're just going to go from there. So what I figured I would do is kind of tell you about my day, but I want to tell you about like a particular run I had on my days while I'm driving home. The run I want to talk about today is going to be actually the last run that I took yesterday. This run was a call about shoplifting, and it brought up a lot of issues that I know I see bantered about when people are talking about police reform and criminal justice reform. And I thought I would touch on that because I see it quite often that people are saying, you know, we don't need to put these shoplifters in jail. They're just trying to feed their family, or they're just trying to get the necessities, this, that, and the other. This guy that I arrested yesterday was the perfect example of why that is a foolish way to go about it. Sure, there are people that are hungry and they're going to steal something to eat, but that's not what the majority of these shoplifting cases are. So it was kind of funny. I was just driving through my precinct and I drove by this store that has shoplifters like all the freaking time. It was, I don't know, 1:15 in the afternoon, and I was no more than like 150 yards west of the store when the call came in, and it said, you know, there was a shoplifting. It was 3 minutes ago. It said a male white in a red polo shirt ran northbound on this major road. And it said he stole a bunch of laundry detergent. So I flipped around. And I said, hey, add me to that run. I'm just around the corner. I went on a like the first street north of this major road and started heading eastbound. And as soon as I turned eastbound, I see a white guy in a polo shirt up the road. He's about a half a block up the road. It was kind of funny because I had to stop at an intersection. I almost ran out into traffic and almost got my cruiser hit. And I got really close to doing that once before when I was chasing a shoplifter. But I had to sit there while traffic was like going like crazy. It seemed like an eternity. I'm focused in on this guy watching for traffic to clear. And then finally I was able to get up on him. Well, I was able to go. He turned down an alley, and I turned down the alley just in time to watch him start to cut through somebody's yard. So I pulled up behind him and I rolled my window down. I wasn't sure if he was going to try to run or not. And I just said, hey buddy, hold up a second. He stopped and looked at me, and I go, okay, don't move. And he was carrying in one hand two, like probably gallon and a half the Gain laundry detergent with a little spigot on it. He had two of those, and then he had a shopping bag in that hand. His other hand, he was drinking a Monster Energy like mocha. And I told him to stay right where he was, and he actually did. He froze where he was. I walked over, grabbed him by his arms, told him to put all the stuff down. So we put the stuff down, put him in handcuffs, and he started saying, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? And I don't know, I think I said something like, you don't have receipts for those, do you? Now, I might want to take a step back for a moment, because people are asking, well, no, I'll go through the process. Normally, what happens on a shoplifter like that, the dispatcher will air the description of the person that shoplifted, and then that call gets transferred to a call center. Call center will take the report. It'll just basically nothing will ever happen. If we can, we try to find the person that matches the description or whatever. We'll take a picture of them back to the store. You know, we can do like a photo lineup, or we can go back and look at the video, see if that was the right person. Then we can make sure we document all of that in the report number. That way, if the store wants to go file charges, they can. When stores have loss prevention officers on a site, that's basically all we do. We show up, they have somebody detained, we verify their identity, make sure they don't have any warrants, and then we release that person. The store will go and follow up and make sure that criminal charges are filed. with this particular store, sorry, railroad track, with this particular store, it's been getting hit like 4 or 5 times a day sometimes. And it's really frustrating because when we go up to take a report, they're frustrated that, you know, we're never there when they call, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, we go the extra mile for this particular store because we're tired of them getting shoplifted from. And it's also very frustrating that these people abuse the system to that point and that basically nothing ever happens of them. Because, I don't know, if we do catch them, they're not going to be held on any kind of bond or anything, so they're going to be released within the hour. So there's no point in taking them to jail. And then if I catch them and I write them a citation and they miss their court date, if I come across somebody with a warrant for misdemeanor theft, what I'm required to do is call down to the court and get them a new court date. So there's virtually no point in catching these people. It's not worth expending a lot of energy. It's not worth, if they run, getting out and blowing out a knee or busting an ankle, because literally you're chasing somebody that nothing is going to happen. So it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But I got my hands on this guy, got him in my car. At a minimum, I thought it would be nice to return the stolen property back to the store. I put him in the car. He was also carrying a shopping bag. In that shopping bag was, I think it was 4 1-pound bags of M&Ms. And he also had another Monster Energy drink that he took from there. A total of like $36, I think, is what everything added up to be. One of my buddies, marked on the run, said, I'm going to go back to the store and see if they have video of it. So he was able to go back and see video. Funny thing that happened was when he walked into the store, they said, oh, it's too late. Another officer already drove right by the guy. And that's another kind of learning point here, is that when you call 911 and you say something happened 2 minutes ago, the 911 call taker has to take your information, get your address, phone number, all that stuff, in order just to write up the run, and then that run gets put into the queue where the dispatcher will then tell officers. If I'm not driving around watching like a hawk, it might take 5 minutes for that run to get to me. So by time, if it happened 2 minutes ago and you call 911, that's approximately 7 minutes before an officer even sees it. Somebody that shoplifted and then took off running, they can make it a long distance in 7 minutes. I would say somebody that's not in very good shape could probably make it a little over half of a mile, which when you're searching alleys and stuff, that's a long way. But it was funny because they were upset that they had called 911 and an officer drove right by the guy. I was probably the officer that drove right by the guy, but the run was not on the board yet. So I literally just drove by my suspect and I didn't know that he was a suspect or anything. That's kind of how that stuff works. But the other thing that I want to talk about is, why was this guy shoplifting? I don't need to get too deep into what he had on him, but he had some drug paraphernalia. He had open sores all over his face. He was obviously a drug user. The things that he stole, well, and he told me, he's like, I'm sorry, man, I was hungry and I had some laundry to do. I don't care how much laundry you have. How many, you can get probably like 70 loads out of one of those containers of laundry soap. He was not stealing laundry soap because he had to do laundry. He was not stealing bags of M&Ms because he was hungry. They will take those things to the other corner stores that are like independent. You know, a lot of times it's those stores that are run by, I don't know, foreign-born individuals. Let's put it that way. They'll go into one of those stores and they'll say, hey, how much can I get for this stuff? And like the guys at those little corner stores will buy the M&Ms for like $2 and they'll sell them for $5. I don't know how much they'll buy the laundry detergent for, but they'll buy everything from him, and he will have just made himself like $15 to $20, and then he can go out and buy drugs with that money. I don't know, it's very frustrating when people try to make excuses for theft offenses, and they say, oh, these people are just starving, they're down on their luck, you know, whatever. It's not true. The reason that they're down on their luck, it's not their luck at all. It's their drug habit that's got them into a position where they have become homeless because they spend all of their money on drugs. They don't pay their rent. They get kicked out on the street. They become a homeless drug addict, and then they begin stealing things from people in order to support their drug habit. And this might also be a good time to mention the fact that all of the money that these guys are spending on drugs goes into fuel the drug trade, which is a very violent operation, to say the least. The majority of the violence that occurs in your major cities, and probably in a lot of your small towns, all revolves around the drug trade. So these guys that are shoplifting and selling the stuff that they shoplifted to your corner stores and taking and giving that money to a drug dealer, that money is fueling the violence that occurs in your city. So treating them as if they are victims and that they are not part of a much larger problem, that's one of the reasons that we're seeing violence escalate in the cities the way it is, because it's like they have an infinite amount of funding and it's coming from this kind of thing. So I don't know. Let me know if I rambled on too much, if that made any sense whatsoever. Hopefully you'll enjoy this kind of video because it's easy for me and I would like to do more of them. With all that being said, I'll talk to you guys later.